Microphone. Laurie? Laurie? Excuse me.
Okay? Okay. I am your worship associate today. In addition to serving in this capacity, I am also one of the team leads for the Connections team, and you'll often find me in the lobby greeting and helping to make everyone feel welcome and at ease. Our minister, Reverend Michelle, is out of the pulpit today. We are pleased to welcome John Snodgrass to the pulpit. John is well known to UU Amherst, and his sermons are always thought-provoking and often entertaining. John will come up now to offer some words of welcome.
Well, good morning. Good morning. It's good to see you. I don't know if I have any words of welcome or entertainment, but I do have a story that comes to mind this morning. The efficiency expert was giving a presentation on household efficiency, and it was going really well. But when it ended, he said, "Now, I have to warn you, efficiency doesn't always save you time." For example, I was once watching my wife mop the kitchen floor, and I pointed out to her that if she moved the bucket with her each time she moved, she could cut the time in half. And a student said, "Well, didn't that save time?" He said, "No, it used to take her 25 minutes. Now it takes me 12. Yes, file that under "Don't try this at home." It's okay, don't worry. I read that in a book. That's not my own personal experience. Welcome to this place which we make holy by our presence. These doors are open to all. Bring your brokenness and bring your power. Bring your fatigue, your early morning aches, and your energy, for here you need not hide nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, where the human is celebrated, where compassion is strength. Welcome to this place. Together, we make it a holy place.
For those gathered in the chapel, please place your phones on airplane mode or turn them off completely to ensure that our online community is able to participate without disruption. We also have assisted hearing devices at the usher station at the back of the chapel. If for some reason the device does not work, please put it in the basket near the usher station and take another one. We have plenty. Also, if you're feeling chilly, please get up at any time during the service and borrow one of the cozy blankets in the big basket on the stairs to the atrium at the back of the chapel. We are not overly formal here. It's okay to get up and take care of yourself. Our gathering music this morning can be found in the gray hymnal number 347, Gather the Spirit. The words will also be projected up front. Let's rise in body or spirit as Linda leads us in singing. We've gathered and we've sung. What we have just engaged in is the beginning of weaving ourselves together, making the place holy by our presence and our intentions. We continue this weaving as we observe two important rituals that remind us of our history, our future, and the beauty of this moment. When we gather, we employ the elements of water and fire to create the sacred space where we can be fully present. Linda will be helping with this ceremony today. Each week, we offer a land acknowledgement to bring to our minds and hearts the indigenous people who once occupied this land, where our church is built. And in that acknowledgement, we also make a promise, a covenant to establish relationships with local indigenous people who continue to struggle in a whitewashed world that too often dehumanizes them and refuses to acknowledge their sovereignty. So we offer this libation in gratitude as we honor the struggle of all people seeking justice and peace. May we have the courage and the wisdom to heal the wounds of the past and build a better future story with all our neighbors, our fellow creatures together. It is also our custom when we gather to light a chalice. The chalice is a cup or vessel that symbolizes Unitarian Universalism and the gathered community. The flame represents the spark that each of us brings to represent the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment to bring more compassion and justice to the world. Please join me in our chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. When we gather, when we gather, we make time in the service to acknowledge the joys, concerns, sorrows, and other realities that we bring with us, affirming that every single bit of who we are can be held in this container of love. We embody this by placing a stone or shell on one of the shared labyrinths at the front or in the back of the chapel. This is your invitation to bring your whole self here. Those of you at home watching later can hold a special object, a stone or shell, or something meaningful, and feel connected to the community as the music plays. Please come up now as you wish. I place a final stone in recognition of the joys, concerns, and sorrows and other realities of those who are participating online. You are embraced by this community. We hold in our hearts those who have been impacted by violence, polarization, and deconstruction this week. May we continue to find hope in the goodness of life and the source of love. Amen, and blessed be. John will now come up. And now we invite the young and young at heart to come up for a special time for our speaker, John Snodgrass.
All right, good, good. We're going to gather right here. Oh boy. All right. Here, listen to this. Yeah? What? It's not. Okay, let's find out. Let's find out. You ready? Here, do you want to open the Wonder Box? Let's see what's in there. What do we got?
It's a ball.
It. Look at that. It is.
Oh, that's why I'm correct.
It's a basketball. You know, I've been thinking, as you can see from looking outside, it's time probably for us to take a break from outside sports and to think about what are some things that we can do inside. So this is what I'm wondering about today. What are some of our favorite, now just a moment, wait, just a moment. What are some of our favorite non-electronic games to play inside? What do you like? Yeah. Just a moment.
Oh, yeah, Uno. Uno's really fun.
Oh, Uno.
Board game ever?
Every board game ever. That's interesting. That's good. Yeah?
Roadhog.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a board game called Roadhog, which is very much like a traffic jam on a game board. Which one? Oh, right. Good. I like that one too. Yes, yeah.
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. Is that the one you play that is like a one-player game? Like the.
Where you make a specific card escape.
That's right, like a puzzle game. That is so cool.
Literally
Every game that's not digital. I love that answer. Although I think that the grown-ups in the room would probably want to add every game that's not digital or Monopoly, right? Because that's the one. If it's a season and you're kind of trapped inside with other people, don't get trapped with other people in a Monopoly board because things really will. Kid Monopoly? Okay, all right. Well, good. So, now you guys are going to get to go to religious education, and I bet they've got some cool games for you. And yes, you may have this basketball. because it was in my house this morning, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, we need something to talk about today for the Time for All Ages, and this is something that I don't want bouncing around in my house this winter. So now it's perfect. Merry holidays to you. All right, have a good time at Religious Education. We are going to sing you out. Thank you. William?
Please join me in a shared reading found in the back of the gray hymnal, number 444, written by the late Reverend Kenneth Patton. I will read the plain print and will then join you as we respond with the italicized print. The words will also be presented on the monitors up front. This house is for the ingathering of nature and human nature. It is a house of friendships, a haven in trouble, an open room for the encouragement of our struggle. It is a house of freedom, guarding the dignity and worth of every person. It offers a platform for the free voice, for declaring, both in times of security and danger, the full and undivided conflict of opinion. It is a house of truth-seeking, where scientists can encourage devotion to their quest, where mystics can abide in a community of searchers. It is a house of art, adorning the celebrations with melodies and handiworks. It is a house of prophecy, outrunning times past and times present in visions of growth and progress. This house is a cradle for our dreams, the worship of our endeavor. And now we will hear from John Snodgrass.
When you're raising children, there's always somebody who needs something. And when you got 4 of them, it is constant. It's, don't forget to send $10 to school with Malcolm for his field trip. Jackson's meds are ready at the pharmacy. Connor's tuition is due. And brace yourself, William might need braces. And then there's another member of our family, a stately old gal still standing at 110 years old, our house. And she always needs about a dozen things, ranging from cosmetic touch-ups to deep reconstructive surgery. Last November, she caught a cold, by which I mean the heat went out, and she needed a furnace transplant. None of these is my house. I thought about it. It's like, oh yeah, I should just go outside and take a picture of my house. And I thought, I didn't feel like going outside. It was too cold. And I thought, let's just get some houses from my neighborhood. That's okay. I say she's our house, but that doesn't sound quite right, because I don't really feel like it belongs to us. We've lived there more than a decade, which is longer than I've ever lived in the same place. But to her, a decade is the blink of an eye. And in terms of ownership, I sort of feel like we adopted each other. She adopted this young family, and we adopted this, now I don't want to say elderly or superannuated. Let's say distinguished. We adopted this distinguished dame in the neighborhood. She's a little rickety, a little cranky and idiosyncratic. She's got some crow's feet in her plaster and the occasional leaking in the basement, but she's got good bones. Better a centenarian with strong timber, I think, than a new model with a heart of particle board. There are 5 houses in our neighborhood, and they repeat in different colors and combinations. There must be 100 copies of each one. That you can kind of see in this random grouping of houses from my neighborhood. We once went to drop off Connor at a friend's house. I walked in, and it's like everything seemed wrong. Everything was out of place. And then I realized everything was fine. It's just that it was the exact same layout as my house, with different wall paint and furniture. Like my house had an identical twin separated at birth. Or like that dream in which you had never been born, and familiar things took unfamiliar shapes in the hands of other people. It was really nice to get home after that, to see the bookshelves and the giant framed posters by my favorite artist, Jim Lee. No offense, but everybody else's wall art looks like the pictures they hang in dentist office bathrooms compared to Jim Lee. The houses in our neighborhood were all built at the same time, around 1910. They're like the Golden Girls. They stay close together. I would like to think of our house as the Dorothy on the block, whom the neighboring houses would lean on if they started to sag. But I think everybody feels like their house is the Dorothy of the group. And my neighbors probably think of my house as Rose, full of wandering stories and strange customs. My office is a library, or maybe I should say a museum of physical media. To my left are wooden record shelves containing the 600 vinyl albums that I absolutely must have within easy reach at all times. The closet behind me has built-in shelves containing the 400 additional records that I don't mind crossing the room to play once every couple of years. Since graduating from high school, I have relocated this record collection approximately 1,000 times. Or maybe 12, but it feels like 1,000. It's my anchor. Home is where my records are. My kids sometimes look at one and they say, "Oh, what's this?" And I say, "No, don't get started." Not because both of my parents have, at times, had to help me move this collection, but because I don't think that human beings should be anchored in this way. Bookshelves behind me and to my right in my office contain the 800 or so books that I might have to grab at a moment's notice when some idea or question comes to mind. Then there are other walls of books in my house. I sometimes joke that if one more book came into the house, it would sink into the earth. But I never pass by a little free library on someone's lawn without a look inside, and usually come home with some heretofore unknown, but instantly indispensable old paperback. Last year, the Canisius Library downsized its holdings of physical books. They had thousands and thousands of volumes lined up in the basement to be discarded. Hundreds of these displaced refugees resettled in my house. Hundreds is not an exaggeration. I took Elizabeth there on a date, and we filled the trunk of our van. One of the many refugees from this library was a book by Erica Jung entitled, "What Do Women Want?" And I've been reading these essays. In one, she wrote, "As a child, not knowing there is an alternative, you never really appreciate home. As a young adult, home is what you want to leave as soon as possible. Only in midlife does home beckon seductively again, inviting you to pleasures that running away can never supply. Home is where your books are," she wrote. "Home is where you know all the quirks of the plumbing, but they comfort rather than irritate you." Les, would you change it, please? Lakota medicine man Black Elk said that one of his earliest memories in the 1860s was that a shaman in his teepee village had a nightmarish vision. The natives of the plains would get caught up in the white man's spider web and would be forced to live in square gray houses. The visionary was so dispirited by this dream that he died shortly after it. For the free-range Lakota, the house that made the most sense was a cone-shaped tent. They needed to be able to pack up their homes and move at any time because the bison herds were always on the go. And the bison was like their Walmart on hooves. It had food to eat and leather for tents and clothing and bones for tools. So in this lifeway that was so entwined with this other species, it really made sense to live inside of the bison. That's what it meant to live in bison skin, was that the bison was your home. I think that's really beautiful, but I can't imagine living in a cone. I've lived in a lot of houses, apartments, and dorm rooms, in 15 towns in 7 states, plus one horrible day in Pennsylvania. And come to think of it, every building I've ever inhabited has been made up of squares and rectangles and triangles. And that makes sense to me, because my desk and my bookshelves are all squares and triangles too. The first house I ever lived in was an old fortress, one of the oldest buildings in the Garden State. George Washington once spent the night there. This old house in New Jersey was haunted, probably not by George Washington, just by some nameless nobodies who slowly walked up and down the stairs all night long. There was a fence of black-painted iron bars around the house and yard, and it was under the New Jersey Turnpike, which drizzled litter and cigarette butts, because this was the last chance to leave your trash in New Jersey before driving into New York, so people would just fling it out their car windows. But that was my introduction to the concept of a house. It's called the Plume House. I learned this week it actually has a Wikipedia page. It's a historical landmark from 1710. That house was already ancient. It was already 150 years old when that Lakota medicine man had the vision of square houses and died of despair in 1860. Maybe that was the house that he saw in his dream. This old fortress surrounded by iron bars. Bars to fence people in? No, even more frightening than that. Bars to protect the tenants from the nightmarish world of poverty, robbery, violent crime, and strangers. I can understand how a dream like that could kill someone. The teepee was a home, but not a place to live. It was a place to sleep and to get out of the rain. But the Lakota lifeway was mainly lived outdoors, in public, in a community where everyone knows everyone, and where nobody could really steal your favorite tomahawk while you were away because it was handcrafted, no two were alike, and everyone in the village would recognize it in someone else's hands. Black Elk said, "Our teepees are round like the nests of birds, and these are always set in a circle, the nation's hoop, a nest of many nests, where the Great Spirit meant for us to hatch our children." Compared to that, my square house seems kind of alien. A fortress of wood, plaster, and glass meant to contain my children and to protect them from a city of strangers. Square houses arranged in a coldly calculated grid so that they could be numbered instead of named. But nonetheless, my house is what feels like home to me. Not just a place to sleep, but a place to live. It is the square nest where we raise our children, one of whom was born in the living room. And when I think about what makes this land sacred to me, part of that is the houses that I've lived in, which are not natural features like mountains and rivers, but they are part of my sense of what America is, the spiritual landscape. The house where my mother's parents lived. While we moved to Newark, Cincinnati, Allegheny, they lived in the same old house in Queens. pretty much since getting off the boat from Hungary in 1956. And that house, to me, felt eternal, as much a part of the American landscape as the Grand Canyon and the Mississippi. And I fantasized that the house that we live in now could be that for my grandchildren someday. Solid as Mount Rushmore, steady as the Niagara River. I am a homebody. Sometimes I realize I haven't, while I was doing notes for this sermon, I realized I had not been outside of my house in 22 hours. So I went for a little walk. I spend the majority of my waking hours indoors. If you added in sleep time, it would be 2/3 or 3/4 of the average day that I spend inside. As a matter of fact, even that doesn't sound quite right. Most of my outdoor time is spent hurrying from one enclosed location to another. I feel most like myself when I'm in my house. But the coronavirus reminded me that home is also a hive. And if bees don't circulate, it can get pretty dry and dreary in there. My office is where I process stuff that I've experienced out in the world, and my creative batteries recharge by spending time in different contexts with different people, different perspectives and temperaments, trying to make various people laugh or think about something. So it's important to get out there. On weekends, the only thing that'll get me outside is that I know that Elizabeth finds me more handsome when I'm rounding up the kids to go to a park. It's like it makes me look like some kind of cowboy, like rustling all these children out the door. It makes me look like an outdoorsman, even though really I'm just going there so I can sit at a picnic table and read. So then we go to the playground. Sometimes they play. Sometimes they protest by refusing to play. I tell them doing nothing outside is still healthier than watching TV inside. And bring a book next time. Winter is coming, and with it, the perfect excuse to stop feeling guilty about wanting to stay indoors all the time. But if you're a homebody like me, remember, it is our interactions and our work and our resilience in the hectic, honking, helter-skelter outside world that give meaning to the quiet moments at home. Thank you.
Our song and response can be found in the Teal hymnal, number 1018, Come and Go With Me. Let's rise in body or spirit and sing with some chutzpah, which is a Yiddish word loosely translated as energy, as Linda leads us. we have at UU Amherst is pretty special. These days, it can be hard to find a community of thoughtful and caring people who are welcoming and inclusive, and we hope you have found that here. If UU Amherst feels like a place for you, whether or not you have explored membership, we hope you will begin a practice of financial support. When you support UU Amherst, you support values that are infused with love. You make it possible for us to have a caring and responsive staff. You keep the snow cleared and the lights on. You take your place in a line of people that began in 1954 and continue to this day, believing that we need not think alike to love alike, building a special place for seekers. Whether you give online through automatic bank withdrawals or randomly with the cash in your pocket, we are grateful. And we promise to use your gifts respectfully and thoughtfully to continue the place where questions are welcomed and children learn love and kindness. The offering will now be gratefully received. We began our service with the lighting of our chalice, and now we extinguish the chalice, not to quench the flame, but to return it to individual hearts, strengthened by this time we spent together, so that we can share our light in the world. Please join your voices with mine. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. As our service draws to an end, our service to the world is ready to begin. You'll find many opportunities for growth and service in your order of service and on our website. All are invited to stay for Huga, the celebration after the service. There will be soup and singing and joy in one another's company. Join us in the Emerson room through the double doors in the back of the room and from the lobby. Also, there is going to be an ugly sweater contest. And if any of you were wondering why there are so many Christmas sweaters today and why I wore what I wore, that's the reason why. If the winter holidays are difficult for you, whether that is through loss, overwhelm, or reasons that are too difficult to articulate, I hope you will consider attending the Blue Holiday Vespers service on December 11th, this coming Thursday, as we make space for your experience and create a circle of loving kindness. You'll find more information in the newsletter, The Forward. And now, please rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing blessing. Don't forget to twinkle your eyes and share smiles with one another during the third verse. Then remain standing for the benediction.
Together we have sanctified this space. If you have found strength and comfort here, share some out there. Remember that you are blessed and you are a blessing and you are not alone.